So welcome to the Inspiration Festival. We have Ciara Longman with us. Welcome, and thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with us. We're very excited to have you and to hear more about your journey where, you left the corporate world of being an environmental manager and, did meet the breath and decided to take that plunge, and training with Leonard Orr, who is the father of conscious connected breath, and how you integrated your journey to what is now, I guess, your techniques and things that you do to incorporate the breath and hypnotherapy into your sessions for your clients to kind of have the ultimate experience and to get to know themselves and, promote healing. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Alexa, and it's really great to be here. I was actually going to give another talk, and a few days ago I was in meditation, and I was told, do the theme of the festival. And so breathing beyond the known is actually what I am all about. And I suddenly went, of course, going beyond what is normal and what is known is such an amazing experience to have, to get out of our normal everyday lives and bring back that elevated consciousness that you've experienced by going beyond the known. So come and join me on a journey now, going beyond the known. Okay, I'm going to share my screen because it's something that I am really passionate about. Okay, so first of all, let's take 20 connected breaths together. So we're going to breathe in unity. And what 20 connected breaths is, you do 4 short connected breaths and then 1 long connected breath. And we repeat that, and we do it 4 times to make 20 breaths. So one round goes like this. So can you all join me now? And we'll do 20 connected breaths together. Okay, starting 1, 2, 3, 4. Long breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Long breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Long breath. Final round. 1, 2, 3, 4. Long breath. And just taking a nice breath now, perhaps with your hands on your heart. Okay, so the aim of a breathwork practice is to become renewed. And this is breathing beyond the known. We're breathing through restrictions. And this is change. So embracing change in your life. It can't help but happen when you're on a breathwork journey, because that is what it really is all about. Okay, so in our early stages of having a breathwork session, the main difficulty is actually maintaining a connected breath, connected breath without pausing, without struggle to breathe, feeling safe to continue going whenever anything comes up that you feel uncomfortable about. You might get physical resistances, you might get emotional resistances, and then you'll reach a point when you break through and you go into a nice flowing state. And this is breathing beyond the known. Okay, we're going into a new space, a new expanded space. And so I just wanted to explain a little bit about breaking through, because we have to break through the mental when we're in the early stage of a breathwork session. And a few of you might recognize this is an adaptation of Freud's iceberg, where you see the conscious mind, which represents 5% of our thoughts, the subconscious, which is a small area that's the gateway to the unconscious. And this is where all the gold is that we can work with. It's in the unconscious. And so in that first part of the breathing session, we're breaking through into the unconscious so that we can deal with anything that needs to be dealt with, that's been suppressed, repressed, shoved down, and then break through into the superconscious state. Okay, and this usually represents the final stage of a breathwork session before integration. And I just wanted to mention a little bit about the brainwave state. So in normal day time, when we're in the thinking state, which is beta waves, okay, so this is our conscious mind. As brain waves start to relax a bit more, and that's when we're in meditation. And then when we really relax and we let the thinking mind take a back seat, we can get into theta state, brainwave state. Then beyond that is delta, when we're sleeping. And that's when we dream. And that's dreaming is a mystical experience where DMT is released from the brain. However, we can get to that state when we're during the daytime. It doesn't need to be when we're sleeping. And we go into gamma brainwave state, which can elucidate a mystical experience. And I can, I've been in this state while I've been awake. So I can absolutely say that it is true. Okay, so once we break through, we get in the flow in a breathwork session, we can enter, and these are different ways of explaining it: the transpersonal state, the non-ordinary state, metaphysical state, transcendental state. It's beyond normal reality or known reality. And this is where we receive guidance, we can have visions, we can get a greater understanding of our life and reach a state of unconditional love and have it fill every cell of your body, feeling absolutely in bliss. However, when we are in this state and we're receiving guidance, discernment is very, very important. And this is a message that I really want to get through, that we have to discern the voice of the ego from the voice of the soul, because the ego is very tricky and the ego can try and pretend to give you guidance. Now, what you heard when you notice these two voices is that the voice of the ego is judgmental. It flatters you. Oh, you are a high being, a soul that's so amazing, and you are going to change the world. It offers grandiose visions to you. However, when we are getting true guidance coming through to us, that voice is tolerant and it informs us. and it focuses on your next steps and how you can change or whatever is needed in your life. So just remember, discernment is really, really important. Okay, so my teacher Leonard Orr, he discovered conscious connected breathing, and it was through a transpersonal experience that he was being taught it by his guru. He didn't know who this was at the time, Maha Avatar Babaji. And so conscious connected breathing actually came about through a mystical experience. And now looking back, this is why I was so attracted to conscious connected breathing, because of going into, once you break through all of your resistances, which I'm not going to deny are very hard, and I still work on them today. I still have things that I need to deeply work on. And the longer you're on this journey, the deeper you'll go into what needs to be brought up for you to look at, examine, and change. But another great teacher in this field was Stan Grof, and he did a lot of work with psychedelics back in the 60s and 70s. And his work actually involves a 3-hour breathwork session, which is very intense, but you can also reach wonderful states within that as well. Okay, so when we are breathing beyond the known and we're bringing up whatever issues or situations or feelings, sensations in your body are coming up for you, and before we access the higher states of consciousness, purification is so important. And what we're doing is we're purifying our minds. We're purifying the energy in our body simply by doing conscious connected breathing. We're purifying our energy system. So many ancient traditions have purification practices, and it's not unheard of. Eastern purification with the elements air, water, fire, and earth. Indigenous purification diets. So before going on into ceremony and doing initiation ceremonies in Indigenous cultures, they'll often do purification diets. Now, something that was really interesting for me, because I lived on an island called Samothraki in Greece, and it's where the ancient Greek mystery school was, that it did initiation into the mysteries. And the whole point of this initiation process, where the initiates would be given different tasks, was to free the soul of limitation, purify the heart, and discipline the mind. Also, within the early Christian tradition, before it was taken over by Rome, the word Christos means anointed one, and this refers to the pineal gland and the sacred oil which comes from the cerebrum descends down into our sacrum, where it sits for a while, then comes back up, and it's purified as it comes back up the spinal column. It reaches the claustrum, where it stays and is crucified, which means becoming more expanded, and then can activate the pineal gland. So a lot of the Bible teachings are actually metaphorical for the activation of our higher consciousness and spiritual being. Okay, so when I was in this island called Samothraki, I was absolutely fascinated by the reading about initiates who would see the sun at midnight. And so I was like, wow, what would that be like? I want to experience this. I mean, I had experienced it before, but I hadn't realized what it was. And it wasn't until I did Joe Dispenza's pineal activation meditation that I did experience that inner light. And it was like I could see 360 degrees and everything was bright. And it was like, but I'm here sitting in my body. This is weird. It's like I haven't come out of my body, but I'm in it. And then this light was beaming out and everything was so bright. So I've always had this real fascination with the mysteries. And I hope you all someday can travel to sacred sites. I mean, you don't have to go to a sacred site to experience this, but there are certain sites where the energy is incredible. Okay. This was just going to be a little explanation on the pineal gland.
We have scientific evidence that you could create really coherent brainwave patterns. And it produces a very strong signal to the body, but the signal is not chemical. The signal is electric. It's producing a transcendental state of joy. The area of the brain that lights up every single time when this happens is the pineal gland, that little radio receiver in the back of your brain.
In the geometric center of the human brain is a tiny cone-shaped gland the size of a pea, known as the pineal gland. The pineal gland is responsible for producing and secreting the vitally important hormone melatonin in the body. But is there another substantial function of this gland? Ancient cultures and traditions revered the pineal gland for being the key to unlocking our universal connection and divine nature. Could there be any legitimacy behind these metaphysical beliefs? And if so, are there ways to consciously activate this gland for spiritual connection?
Okay, so this is where we get to experience it again. Would you like to try the pineal activating breath? Okay, so I'll just explain a little bit. What happens is when you hold your breath, it increases the intrathecal pressure of the cerebrospinal fluid. So that is fluid that goes up your spinal column. Okay, the other thing we need to do when we do this breath meditation is to contract your perineum muscles, which is the mula bandha if you do yoga. So if you bring in your button muscles, like your anal area. Okay, so by doing that, by squeezing the butt muscles, and then we do our abdomen. So you squeeze your abdomen muscles, then your chest muscles. And when we're exerting this pressure onto our spinal column, this forces cerebral spinal fluid to move upwards into the brain. Okay, it causes mechanical stress on the crystals in the pineal gland. These are calcite crystals, which then get electrically activated and melatonin is produced. Now, this does take a long time before you get to the melatonin production. So it is a practice that you do need to keep doing. But let's go through it now. So I'll do it very slowly, and if you join along with me, and then we'll do it again afterwards. Okay, so taking a nice deep breath in, and then exhale, pushing the air out of your nose. Hold the breath. Pull in your perineum muscles, okay? And then slowly breathe in, and very slowly. And while you're breathing in, contract your abdomen muscles. Then contract your chest muscles, allowing the breath to go all the way up till it reaches the brain. And then we're going to hold. And then exhale. Okay, I'm going to walk you through it again. So breathing in and exhale. Pushing all the air out of your body. Okay, hold your breath. Pull in your perineum. And then slowly take an in-breath. Contracting your abdomen. Then your chest. Up to the top of your head. Holding your breath. And exhale. One last time. Okay, breathing in. Exhale. Hold your breath. Pull in your perineum muscles. And then slowly breathing in. Drawing in your abdomen and your chest, breathing all the way up to your brain. And exhale. Okay. Shake your arms. Coming back in your body. Okay. So the whole point of coming into these higher states of consciousness is to bring that experience into your living body that's living every day. You're allowing that higher consciousness in your body, because your body's not a nuisance. That's how I always looked at it. I had 3 decades of absolutely hating my body and not realizing that my body is sacred. It's this wonderful temple that I'm in. So allowing that sense of higher consciousness coming into every cell and loving your body and living heaven on earth, which is possible. I didn't think it was maybe 20 years ago or even 15, but living that joy that you feel out in this 3-dimensional world. Okay, so before we go into this, does anybody have any questions? Oops, wrong one. Have we got any questions? Let me check. I'm trying to have a... Right.
Yeah, feel free to pop them in the chat. Really great.
Anybody? No questions. No,
We
fantastic.
want more of
Okay.
your presentation.
Okay. So what we are going to do is a really lovely meditation to take us into a superconscious state and talk to the cells of our body. Okay. So if you can find somewhere that's really comfortable now, get a blankie. In fact, I need to put mine on too. And if you've got a headset, that might even be good. But if your sound is fine, that's okay. How's the sound? Okay, everyone, just checking. Great. Okay, so close your eyes now and taking breath in and just allowing to move throughout your body. Okay, thank you. All right, so is that better? Give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Wonderful. So allowing your mind to be quiet, because this is your time. Taking in another deep breath and exhale, because with every inhalation, go deeper, deeper into relaxation. And with every inhalation, fill your body with life force energy. This life force energy is unconditional love. So allow this love to permeate through your body with every breath. Breath of life is filling you. And with every exhale, simply let go. Let go of thinking, because this is your time to connect with your body. Okay, let's take 20 connected breaths together. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Long breath. 2, 3, 4. Long breath. 1, 2, 3. Long breath. 1, 2, 3. But just taking a moment now to become totally aware of your body. And I invite you to gently and easily scan through your life from the moment you up to present day. And take this scan from your body's point of view. So take a deep inhalation, scanning for any illnesses you may have had, any surgeries, and feel aware now that all through your life there has been this most absolutely incredible intelligence working with every single one. Take a nice deep in breath. Unconditional love. Been wishing to only keep you healthy, to keep you well. And I don't think to you from the best intentions of your parents or caregivers. But this time, this intelligence, if it could have spoken to you, what would it have said? What would it have said about that experience may have come to your mind? Your innate body's intelligence. And your body's intelligence works so perfectly in partnership with your physical body. So take a moment now, your body, for all that it has to about. Thank your body for sustaining you. Perhaps when you were younger, there was nobody there to tell you, to show you how this body could be aimed. Living in harmony. Our body knows exactly what we need when we need it. Our body can speak really clearly. Invite you now to any signals the body might be taking, trying to tell you. Take a deep breath in. Allow your mind to move out of the way. Ask your body for you. What do you do to help your body have the conditions that it needs? And perhaps you might want to tell your body that no one will be different. You're willing to listen. And listen with love, like the love that you would share with a child. Share that with your body. So taking 20 connection breaths once again, breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, long breath, breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, long breath, breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, long breath, breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, long breath. Now, if you have a particular health challenge at the moment, ask your body, what do you need from me now? What can I do for you now to give the conditions to heal? Yeah. Allowing yourself to listen to the messages of your body. Your body says, I'm tired. Take some time out. Relax. Lie down. Your body says it's time to go and get some exercise. I need to move. You know that it's coming out of the most incredible intelligence to keep you healthy and well. And you can happily listen to messages from your body. Know that you're never alone. It's part of you. It's a part of every single one of your cells. By taking a deep breath in and bathing every unconditional. Because you are one with incredible intelligence. Knowing all of the incredible intelligence. We're going to come back to be present in the room that you're in. Take a deep breath in, an energizing breath. And exhale. And know that you can feel when your body wants to speak to you and communicate with you. It's alive, intelligent, and loving. And you can really listen to your body's intelligence every single day, every moment. And when you get a message, you can say to yourself, wow, this is coming to me from cosmic intelligence. that knows everything about how to keep me healthy. The voice of love wants to keep me alive and manifest and be who I am. Okay, so just tapping and stamping your feet on the floor, bringing yourself back here. How was that for you? Who got some messages? Would you like to share?
Just knowing if you share, you will be on camera on the recorded session.
Okay, yes. So it's your choice. The
Really
reason
beautiful.
I chose to do this meditation, it's something that I've forgotten. I'd totally forgotten all about this. And I've had a medical challenge recently in the last couple of years, a tumor. And I'd forgotten to talk to my body. Because I learned this many, many years ago before I even did conscious connected breathing, about talking to the cells in my body. And they're like, you're not listening to me. You're just continuing doing things that you shouldn't be doing. So it's really, really important that we go into this wonderful state, and then we can communicate without the mental mind telling us that, oh, that's a load of rubbish or anything like that. So is there anyone? Benny? How was that?
Thank you very much. It was wonderful. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. I recently ruptured my Achilles tendon in my left foot. So I'm learning to navigate the whole terrain that I'm used to in a very different way. Yeah, I had a wonderful, wonderful conversation with my left leg, with the sensations. And I've also been doing a Masters of the Universe healing process. And I mean, the visions that I have when I'm doing that all came in just instantly. So I had a massive healing experience going on over here. Thank you. Yes.
Wonderful. Hey, I might get that Masters of the Universe healing thing off you when I
It's quite wonderful. I also am so fortunate. I have a friend in Germany who did my training 25 years ago in Germany, and he's learned this healing, some mysterious healing technique. But he drove over from Germany to Holland when I did this and gave me a healing session, and he calls me every other day, and he's doing long distance healing. So I'm feeling really blessed.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Ciara. Yeah.
You're welcome. So does anybody have any other questions or comments about your own experiences on the breathwork journey and going into altered states and what you've learned from that?
How about, would you like to share your first, was your first experience?
Yes. Okay. So, all right. Well, so I was very lucky to have a session with Leonard, and my first session with him, once I had let go of the struggle to breathe, the mind chatter, that early part of the session, just let go, I became everything and nothing in the universe at the very same time. And it is like the weirdest thing to be everything and nothing. And I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. So yes, I mean, and that was in a breathwork session, you know.
And what technique? So he used the conscious connected breathing
Yes.
technique the whole time?
Yep, it's rebirthing breathwork, and it's conscious connected breathing, mainly through the nose. We do the mouth, but you start and finish with the nose. And so before I had that experience, Joan of Arc came to me and said to me that I was in rapture when I was in the flames. I didn't feel them. I was like, oh, okay, wow, because I'd always back in my trance dancing days, there was a song called Rapture that I absolutely loved, and that was the whole part of the you know, trance dance movement, is that when you're dancing, you get into rapture when you're with the music. It takes you away, and that's why it appealed to so many people, because it took us away from our daily lives. I was much younger then when that happened, and so hearing her say I was in rapture, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, because I could never imagine like the sensation of burning and not being able to feel it. Whoa. Yeah.
And
So I love traveling, and I like going to these sacred sites across the world. There's a sine wave that goes across the world, dotted throughout are points where there are sacred sites. So the pyramids in Egypt, Angkor Wat in Cambodia, Bodh Gaya in India, Khajuraho in India. So I went to Khajuraho in India, and the energy of that area is the sacral chakra. Okay, you literally go there, and creativity. I was like, I want to sing and dance and paint, and it was just amazing. And now this area of India is where the Tantra temples are. So if you haven't dealt with your sexual demons, whoa, boy, you are in for a rough ride, because that sexual energy comes right up, and you're like, and luckily, you know, I went there. If I'd have gone there when I was younger, I dread to think what would have happened. But now that I'm older, it was like, I felt this like sexual energy rise up, and I'm like, ooh. But what I did was turn it into creativity. Now they had a temple there that the yoginis were allowed to be, and we're talking of the Middle Ages in India, where women, you always had to get married off. But these were women who didn't have to be married, and so they would do practices in their temple, and you know, they didn't have to be married. So it's such an interesting place, and I'm thinking about taking a group there maybe next year. Yeah, exactly. Because really, like when I was there, so it wasn't so much of having a mystical experience. The experiences were with my eyes open. I was having these wonderful energy sensations, synchronicities, all joining up, meeting incredible people, because people gravitate to that location. And transformation, you can't help but be transformed in your life experience. Yeah. Sorry, Alexa.
No, I was going to ask if you did a meditation there, or if you did any kind of group work there, or if it was just the energy. And I think you answered the question just saying that you went there.
I literally went there because I knew it was on this line of sacred sites that went around the world, and when I got there, I went, oh, this is sacral chakra energy for sure. And that's why they built the Tantra temples there. So never judge a temple by its carving. Okay, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a temple by it's got all these erotic carvings on the outside, but that outside ain't nothing once you get into the inner sanctum of the temple. You spend some quiet time, you sit, you meditate, and you go inwards and let things happen to you. Now we can do all this work on our own, you know, wherever we are, that there's no limitation. However, I do love traveling to these sites because it's exciting. You're meeting people from different cultures, with different viewpoints. And for me, it's expansive, understanding another person's life from their perspective, vicariously, you know, understanding. And I learn. It's enriching.
I was going to ask you about, so you mentioned Joe Dispenza, holotropic,
yes.
You know, you've trained with Leonard Orr and this meditation. Can you just share with us, I guess, what is your favorite technique? Do you kind of fuse in everything, and you do hypnotherapy? So is the meditation that you did with us with that conscious connected breath something typical? Because you just kind of, you said you brought that out from way back, you kind of forgot about it. Yeah. What is your typical kind of session?
Yeah, that was through my hypnotherapy training before I did breath work, but I add the 20 connected breaths in there because that stops the mind. So the problem sometimes when we're listening to a meditation is the mind will start, you know, meh, meh, meh. And if we do that, activating 20 connected breaths just before we want to receive a message or receive guidance, it kind of helps get the mind out of the way.
Yes, that is true.
So with techniques, when I facilitate a breathwork session, it's just a breathwork session. However, people come to me genuinely. So I called out to the universe and I said, just bring me people who want to work deeply on their issues. They're ready for it. They want to go to that difficult place so that they can feel like they're supported when they're in that moment of feeling that utter uncomfortableness, that fear, whatever it is that is there in the unconscious. So I'll do a pure breathwork session, but I'll give you an example of a client that I had in Mexico. She had been kidnapped as a child. As a teenager. Bound, had you know, like and she was carrying that fear still in her body. And during the breathwork session, she said to me, I'm there, I'm scared, I don't know what to do. So I held down her arms and I said, I want you to break free. And as she was there, she just got this almighty will and just went like that, just out of nowhere, like a mother rescuing a baby. She just got the strength and she pushed me away, and the energy went. That energy that was caught up just let go. So only when I deem it necessary, I'll bring in another technique, because generally the breath takes you to where you need to be. And if you stay with it, it can take you through. Sorry, not it can, it does take you through.
I got the chills when you said, I
Yeah.
want you to breathe
Well,
free.
during my it was my hypnotherapy training. It's not standard. It's called alchemical hypnotherapy, and it's I did it in California, and it's talking with guides. It's transpersonal, and they did this session with me where we reenacted a scene from my childhood. So as a child, I was very spiritually aware. I'd often come out of my body, look down at myself and say, who am I? What am I doing here? What is this? You know, but then I had traumatic events happen to me at quite a young age. And that just took me out of it. You know, then I had to deal with this deep trauma that was held in my body. And the magical world disappeared.
The breath work brought
And
you
so,
back.
yeah. But now, but I called it in to go on this healing journey to bring myself back into the magical world and help
Okay.
other people. So, you know, it was a soul choice on my behalf, those incidents that happened to me as a young child. And so they reenacted the scene of a man that molested me, and I kicked back like this almighty, like kicked back, and there was a room full of men, and they all went, wow. They got what it is to be a woman that's molested. They really got it because they felt that energy release. And, you know, I'd never felt so loved and held and supported after that happened, when they all came up to me and they said, oh my gosh, what you went through was horrendous. And we get it, what men do. Yeah.
Just to close off and on this, do you find that I guess it must be very rewarding for you to be able to help others that maybe have PTSD from traumatic events that have happened
Yeah.
in their life, to be able to help them
Absolutely.
heal
No.
themselves?
Yeah, there's nothing more wonderful than when you're facilitating a session and seeing someone let go, and myself included, you
Sure.
know, feeling myself let go, because I continue working on myself. I'm not one of these people that, oh, I know it all. No chance. You know, as long as we're breathing, we got stuff.
It'll come, like you said, right? And
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to close off, I actually just wanted to ask you one more, because you were in the corporate world.
Yeah.
It's always like, I guess that saying, like, when we need to let go of the most, when we grip on the tightest. Did you have that moment where you just kind of knew that you were gonna kind of go to the other side, but you kept on gripping on and just, did you have that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so the biggest thing for me on my change was on LinkedIn, completely changing my profile, and I still have it there now. And I still do contracts because people just ask me, we really need your help to write this strategy for us, or we really, and I do it because there'll always be the environmentalist in me. But so when they look me up, it's hilarious. Some people are like, oh, what a freak. and then I'll get messages from other people, like in the the professional professional world. They'll be like, oh my gosh, I really need help with blah blah blah, and they love to see that I do this work. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. And the point of telling you that is that I finally went, I don't give a shit what people think about me. On that corporate level, I don't want that world. You know,
Thanks so much for
I've
that, 'cause
gained so much from doing, and it is hard. And I want to say to people who are learning breath work is that you have to get the courage. It's all about having that courage of claiming this is who I am and not caring what people think. And that's hard.
The internal work is definitely hard. It's sometimes scary to go inside.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have someone like you that's really knowledgeable, that you can tell just by your energy that you're very playful and very delicate in terms of
Yeah.
how you guide. And I think that, you know, when you're in a trauma response, you forget that playfulness. You, like you said, you lose imagination, you lose yourself in the trauma. And it's very beautiful the way you bring out that playful energy, which is much needed for someone that is kind of trying to maneuver through trauma or you know, PTSD or any kind of events, or kind of wanting to go further, and away from that masculine energy, bringing in a little bit more of that feminine side, right? So just thank you.
Exactly. And so because of that traumatic event, I didn't want to know my feminine side, because it was, in my child's view, it was that feminine that attracted it. And so I took on a very masculine profession, and I was very masculine in my, and it's only been in the last 5 years that I've really come to understand the feminine. Now, the one thing I haven't perfected yet is receiving.
I think everyone's guilty of that. When if you're a giver, right? You almost find it awkward if someone wants to help, like, don't worry, I'll do everything.
Masculine. Giving is masculine. And we are these wonderful women who can receive.
Mm-hmm.
We can.
Letting your guard down, right? And learning how to let your guard down. Well,
Exactly.
Thank you so much for this amazing session. And I just wanted to give anyone else an opportunity if they wanted to just pop anything else into the chat before we close the session. But it was beautiful. I love your energy.
And thank you, Liz, for your comment. That's wonderful. Yes, we do have to. We really have to keep working on ourselves. And I always say to people that, you know, talk to me and want to have a session. I say, look, make sure you interview your breath workers. You interview them. You make sure that they are doing the work themselves.
Absolutely. It's needed.
And I might not be the right person for you, and that's okay.
Okay, I'm just going to stop the